to get started here, what you can do to start draining the coolant is on the passenger side. You come in this fender well, and there's usually a little bit more stuff here, but being they have an aftermarket bumper, it actually makes it pretty easy to see. This right here is your lower radiator hose, and you can see the metal clip there. You'll pull that up, which will release it, and then you can wiggle it back and forth and break the seal on it to slide it backwards, and it will start to dribble down here, and you can place a bucket or your favorite pan or whatever you want to use to catch the coolant, and you can drain it from there. The older Duramaxes had a drain on the actual driver's side over there. Just a normal petcock drain works pretty good. You can actually hook a little hose to it if you need to, but these newer ones, I'd say newer, but later model than the petcock style, this is the fun way you get to drain them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that draining, and we'll catch up with you in a minute. Here we're going to start on taking this fan shroud off of here. About the easiest way I've found is go ahead and disconnect your sensors up here, loosen this clamp up a little bit. It is a 5/16 or a straight blade screwdriver, whichever you prefer to use. And then this pushes back a little bit and lifts out of here with a little bit of wiggle room. You also have this bolt right here, and there's one on the other side also. There's pretty good chance that you will have bolts on the other side that are also a little bit longer to get the fan shroud off. Do not mix them up. If you do, there's a pretty good chance that you'll actually run this one down too far, and I'll show you why that's a problem here just a second. Grab this for a minute. The problem with putting the longer bolts in is you see that there's a little bit of a tight tolerance there. You'll actually poke a hole in your radiator, so very important to keep track of your bolts. These ones you don't want to mix up. While I got you down here, these are your other two push rivets that you got to pull out in order to get this upper fan shroud off. So I'll put you back up here for a minute and see if we can't get them out quickly. A lot of times, if you can get to them, these pliers, if you don't have a pair, they work great. But in most situations, they might not fit, like in this one. I can actually just barely get to this back one, but I think it's going to be enough to get it popped up. They can really come in handy, because if you can get any part of it on there, they will pretty much take them out of there. So there's one. And the other one, I'm not sure if I can get to. Oh yeah. A little wiggle. Yeah, driver's side over here, it's kind of the same situation. Yeah, one 13mm here. There's usually a couple also 13mm that are holding this on here. They're not here on this particular one. I don't know if someone took them out and didn't put them back in or what. They do have one plastic rivet in here holding on this side, so we're going to pop that out and take it out. I've got a parts bin started over here. From there, it pretty well will pop out of here. There is a tab on that side to release, and as you can see, you can move it up out of the way wherever you need to. It doesn't have to go far, honestly. Just right there is fine. You can also see right down here 2 more of those plastic rivets. There's one about right here, and the other one you can't quite see. It's right underneath this, but there's a second one there. So in the process, again, don't mix these bolts up. They can poke a hole in if you get the wrong side, or these bolts that are usually in here, they thread in. I'll see if I can get you a better view of that. Usually you have one that threads in right there instead of that push rivet, but it depends on which model you're working on. Some of the later ones use bolts, some use push pins. I've seen it a couple different ways. There's also the other push pins. This one I've went ahead and popped loose along with this other one here, so it should come out. You take both of those out, and well, once you got that out, this side's free also. You can grab in about the middle and just kind of slowly pull and work your way up, and this whole piece will come out of here, and you can set it aside while you look here. Next, I like to take this piece right here off. I can see already this bolt is missing. We'll have to replace that one. There's also one mount right down here that is usually best accessed from the driver's side fender well, and there's one on the other side also that holds this fan guard. And once you get those out, it tends to slide one way or the other, but then it lets you get down at the fan nut, which is right there.